Okay guys, welcome back to the YouTube. So we're back, Ultraflex Rotherham. We're gonna get, come here! We're gonna get a leg session in today with Lisa and Gillian, who are a few weeks post their photo shoot. So the reason why it's so valuable to have them come down and train with me is just because, one, obviously there's the side of it where we're gonna go through some form tips with them. We're just gonna go through a few corrections, obviously things that often are a lot easier to correct when you're here in person in practice. But then it's not just that, it's about setting the standard for them going forward for their training, because obviously now they're going into a building phase off the back of a shoot prep. The training becomes not essentially even more, but very, very important in comparison to even the back end of their shoot. So this is where they're going to make the improvements in a building phase. This is where you're going to make the majority of your gains that you're going to show when you actually diet down. If you don't spend that time building the muscle, if you don't spend that time focusing on your training and eating more food, you're going to put yourself in the back step for next time you do diet down for a shoot or even for a holiday. This is where those improvements are made, and this is where you are going to make the majority of the changes to the muscle mass that you have. So we're going to train legs, we're going to have a really good session, we're going to smash it. They're a bit nervous, but they're going to kill it like they killed the shoot, and we'll get stuck in. Right, so first exercise is abductor. When I warm up for my leg sessions, I like to do a mixture of hip airplanes, some walking lunges, which I just do up and down here, and I'll just jump in to do some warm-up sets of the abductor. Okay. So what we'll do is I don't know how you usually warm up for your sessions. You just warm up.
I just do a few classes.
Oh, some of them. do what you like to do. Okay, so there's no really fixed way of how to warm up, how not to warm up. I just like my hip airplanes. I like my walking lunges. It just gets me nice and warm. It gets my basically my legs working, going through those movement patterns, and then I'm ready just to jump straight in for sets basically. Doesn't take me long, takes 5 minutes. Okay, so you can follow me up there to do some walking lunges, and then if you want to do some hip mobility work or swings, do what you normally do, and then in 5 minutes time we'll just jump back into these. Okay. We're going to do a couple of warm-up sets on that. So literally, you're going to warm up. So that should be nice and light. Okay. I just want you to do 10 to 12 or so. So you're not pushing it to failure. Don't waste your energy before you've actually got into working sets. So by the time I've done my lunges, I'll swap over with you. Yeah, nice. That better be light. To feel light.
I was like, is that light for you?
Yeah. Is that heavy for you?
No, it's heavy, but it's not light.
That's fine, because we'll probably, jump in. Right, this is still a warm-up set, okay? So just do as many as you can that you feel are easy. So the moment you start to feel difficult, then just stop there, because remember you've still got to do your working sets yet. Okay? Good. I would hold on to the handles here. So pull yourself down into the seat, Good. When you're doing the machine work, usually you do want to make sure that you're putting yourself down into the seat the entire time, because it will really help with the stability that you can create.
Should I be sitting back now?
No, you're perfectly fine in the position you have, because with the abductor we want to have a slightly forward lean from the hip, but you just want to make sure that you're putting yourself down in the seat. Otherwise you kind of move all over the place. You'll feel the difference compared to when you have your hands here and when you have your hands here. Pull yourself down the entire time.
It's nearly like an automatic thing, isn't it? Like doing that. When I finish.
Take your time in the stretch. Good. So pause inside and outside. Yes, come on, and again. And again, come on. Pause on the inside, don't lose it. Better. Good. And again. Keep going. Yes, good. Okay. That's all. Well done. And again. Good, Lisa. Let's go. Yeah, and again. Couple more. Pause inside. And again. Yes, good. You'll take it to the point where you literally are doing a couple of partials. Okay, so even though you can't get 4 reps, don't be afraid to keep going for a couple more. Usually, like, those aren't the ones that I'm going to write down on my logbook, but still go for them anyway. Okay? Did that one feel easy before?
What?
Did it feel easy enough before, like weight-wise? Did it feel heavy?
I'd go a little bit heavy.
I would keep it on the same one.
Okay, yeah.
Okay? And then what I would do is I would just really make sure that you nail down those pulls on the inside.
Yeah.
Okay? So sometimes it's not a matter of like, right, just chasing heavier weight. It's also questioning, could I have improved upon the set that I just did at the same weight?
Okay.
And if you feel like you can improve it, then what I would usually do is just stick at that weight.
Yeah.
Okay? And just make it better.
Yeah. Perfect.
Good. Keep your core just a little bit tighter. Keep your core just a little bit tighter here. So when you're doing a big movement like this, or actually any movement, think about, imagine if you were to get, like, this is going to sound violent, but imagine if you were to get punched in the stomach.
Yeah.
You know that feeling that you get, that be like,
yeah.
That's kind of what you want to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because sometimes when you're doing those, you get this bit of like an arch in your back like this.
Yeah.
So try and keep this just a little bit tighter. So crunch your ribcage down to your core a bit more.
Does the grip matter?
It will do in a bit, but I like overhands, which is why I want you to use lifting straps.
Yeah.
Because you won't have to do 1 over 1 under. Okay.
I always feel like I find it real hard to like engage my core.
Yeah.
Like I'm always.
I feel like for a lot of women as well, we always walk around a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like with your pelvis tilted that way. So I feel like it almost it's a habit of it, almost like being a little bit loose.
Yeah.
So just try and really keep crunching that down.
Yeah. Okay.
When you do your heavier sets for these now, I'm probably going to get you to take your shoes off.
Yeah.
Because they're lovely, but they're just a little bit spongy. So you'll be better off if you have just a planted foot without that kind of cushioning. Yeah, I've seen. Yeah. So with those, you can see that I literally just kind of like kiss the floor with the bar. It's not like it's just like a kiss and then straight back up again, just to take the momentum out. Obviously, like I said, with these, you're going to keep your hips up a little bit higher than what you would with a conventional, where obviously you're like squatting a bit more down to the floor. This is definitely like an IDL, just touch the base of the floor. I'm going to take these off. I think there should be a couple of 5s somewhere that are like bumper plates, but I don't know where they are. Show me how you usually wrap them.
So like this.
So you're going the wrong way, which is probably why that they don't work.
I'm kind of happy because I'm like, I have like a vendetta against these bands.
So what we do is we're going to wrap them under the bar, opposing the direction of your fingers. So essentially your fingers are going to go over. So these are going to go under. See what I mean?
Do you do that?
And then what you're going to do is you're going to just imagine like you're going to twist like the throttle on a motorbike, and you're going to tighten them.
Okay. Yeah.
Under. That's still over. There you go. Yeah, that's it. I had a suspicion when you said that they weren't working, and I was just like, they must be wrapping these the wrong way.
I was like, they just do not work. Because I think about them too much. Slip.
Yeah. But they slip because they're the wrong way.
Okay.
So make sure they're tight. So it should feel tight around your wrists. Okay, does that feel tight though?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, make sure you're also in the middle of the bar. So watch you're not way over one way.
Does that look okay?
Huh?
Does that look okay?
You look like you're a little bit over this way, so I'd move that hand out a little bit.
Like that?
So I always like to use like the rough part of the bar to gauge where my hand position needs to be or whether they're even. So yeah, so I always make sure that the front of my hand is almost like I can just about see like the rough part of the bar on each side. Yeah. So make sure they're tight. Set up with your hips a bit higher. Hips a little bit higher and pull the bar back to you. Yes. Yeah, better. And then RDL. RDL. Yep. Keep the bar close. Bar close to the legs the whole time. Yeah. Hips back just a little bit more. Hips back just a little bit more. And then all the way to the floor. Good. Just kiss the floor with the plates. Yeah. Take your time to rest for a second. Yeah. And keep the bar a little bit close to your legs. That's better. Good. Hips up a little bit higher. Think hips back and up. Better. Okay, so as the weight comes up, my reps go down because I'm trying to get an idea of how heavy the weight is in my hand, like go through the movement pattern, fill in like the gaps between obviously the bar and what my working weight will be, but without kind of wasting energy, okay? So I want to be able to still have as much in the tank as possible to go into my first set not being like tired because I've just done so many reps on my like warm-up sets. Good, and again, got like 2 more, easy. Good, and again, tight to the floor, come on. 2 more, come on. Yeah, and again. And again. Oh, plenty, come on. Let's go. Rest into the floor. 1 more, 1 more, 1 more, let's go. Good. Even that was pretty straightforward.
I feel like sweating though.
You've been selling yourself short, girl. Right, close your leg. Hips up, hips up, hips up. Yeah, bar back. Yes, good. Right, left it settle. Good, nice. And again. Good. Hips back, touch, rest, and then pull. Let it rest. Yes, good. And again. And again, easy. Come on. Light work. 1 more. Let it settle. Pause. And again, 1 more. Let's get it. Definitely have 1 more. So your environment that you train in is really important because obviously not every gym is created equal. Like the girls, they don't have the access to the best facilities. And don't get me wrong, you don't need the best facilities to make incredible progress. But let's say the leg press, for example, the leg press they have, they're only able to get like half the range of motion they need. So today is going to be a bit of a shock because we're actually going to be able to take them through what I would see as, you know, a proper, like the proper range of motion that we should. And like I said, you can progress anywhere. You can literally progress training at your garage, as I'm sure a lot of us did in lockdown. But at the same time, your environment does matter. If you have big goals and you really want to maximize your progress, then sometimes it's better for you to actually try and make your environment fit your goals or align with your goals a little bit more so. Because trust me, it will make a difference. Since I've trained here, it's made a massive difference to the progress that I've seen across the last like 2 years compared to when I trained at a gym where I didn't have all this kit available to me. With this machine as well, you'll probably find that if you've got shorter arms like me, it will be easier to grab like the back of the handles rather than these bits, because I find that these are really slippy.
Yeah.
And like you'll struggle to reach them. So if you just grab the back of these, you'll probably find it a lot better, more comfortable. More. Yeah. Good. Again. One more. Good, right, back it up. Sometimes I can have an idea in my head of what I'm going to lift that particular day for that particular set. Now, there are loads of occasions where I get in for the set, I do 1 rep, and then I can change my mind. So sometimes it feels a little bit heavier, sometimes a little bit lighter. I'll adjust depending on how that particular set feels. And I'm not just gonna stick to a weight if I feel like it's a little bit too light for that working set. I'll literally just do one rep, and then I'll literally just go up. And I'll not waste any time doing that. Spend a little bit more time at the bottom. Good. Think you can get another inch. Sink them. Good. Come on, let's go. And again, 3, easy 3. Don't let them get shallow now. Same depth as when you started. Yes, come on, let's go, and again. Let's go. I've got you, okay? So if you can't get it, let's go. And again, 2 more. 1 inch more depth. And again, 1 more. Let's go. Fine. Okay. Something that I'm really aware of when I'm doing like a leg press or a Bulgarian split squat, something like that, I always make sure that I'm not resting for too long at the top of each rep, because essentially if you're just sitting around like resting at the top and having millenniums between 1 rep to the next, you're actually adding in a lot more rest time technically that you don't essentially have the muscle under as much tension as you could. So by minimizing the rest at the top and just making the reps continuous, you're going to get so much more out of the set. Like if I rested for longer at the top, I'd probably be able to get like 3 or 4 more reps, but I want to try and make my sets as hard as possible. And a part of that is just trying to go from 1 rep to the next without breaking that continuity. So keep this dumbbell in alignment with your heel, okay? So forward a bit more. Yeah, because that's going to really help you keep your center of mass on the front leg. A bit more depth, so if you can, tilt the top of the dumbbell up a bit more, and then imagine like you're going to twist your hips around to your left. 1 more. Twist the hips into left. Oh, sorry, right. The other left. There you go. Good. Remember, align your hand with your heel. So hands down to the heel. Good. So imagine that you're going to tilt your hips or twist your hips towards me as you come down. Hips towards me, towards me, towards me. That's better. And pause at the bottom. Take your time. Good, it's better. 3 more. Sit back into the hip. Come on, let's go. Drive. And again, last one. Better. Okay, so the girls have obviously said that they don't really feel like they get along with the hyperextension at the moment, so they have been avoiding doing them. Now, we're all going to have those exercises that we might not enjoy so much, or we feel like we maybe don't connect so well with, but we're never going to get to a point where we're good at them if we don't practice them. So by avoiding them, it's not going to get us any better, okay? Yeah. So we want to put ourselves in a position where we're learning. We want to put ourselves in a position where we're going through movements that we might not like, because often they can be the movements that we should really be doing the most of. So the things that we're bad at are often the things that we need to learn to get better at if we really want to progress in the way we want to. With these then, it's all about the glutes. So we want these to be very much like glute dominant. So what I'm looking out for is for you to keep a nice like neutral spine. We don't want to see like any overarching on our back as we come up. We want to use the glutes to pull ourselves up literally the whole way. So you're going to set these up obviously from your feet like we usually do. So your feet are going to be, again, like train tracks. So whenever we're in a machine, we want the feet to be in line with the knees, to be in line with the hips. So we don't want to have like the feet like kind of all the way out here or anything like that. So nice straight line, toes pointed forward. We're going to think about the hyperextension like almost like an RDL over the pad. So it's still a hip hinge. So when we're bringing our body down, we're going to think about pushing the hips almost back, hinge at the hip. So we'll start off just body weight. I like to cross my hands over my chest, send my hips back. I'm going to keep my spine nice and neutral. I don't need to go all the way down here because I'm getting no more out my hip, and it's just my back basically arching to get my body lower. So I don't need to go all the way down, because also if I have a weight here, I'm actually going to be taking a bit of tension off the glute as the weight travels further towards the pivot, which is actually my hip. So here, and then I'm going to think about engaging my glutes to the bottom and using them to drag my body up. I'm only going to bring them up to this point because this is where my glutes are fully short. If I was to go up like that and use my lower back, my glutes are not getting any shorter. It's just my back arching to get my body up more. So you don't need to try and get your back up as far as you can. It's just, right, my glutes are fully short here. I'm going to keep my rib cage crunched down onto my core, and then I'm going to hinge my hips back again. Back to here, because that's where I'm going to get no more out of the glutes. Engage them, and then drag my body back up again. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and squeeze them. Good. Lovely. So when you get to the bottom, you're going to contract your glutes and really be intentional about using them to pull your body up. Yeah, I like to almost like think about contracting them, like squeezing them, and then using them to pull my body upwards. Core nice and tight as well. If your core is tight, you're less likely to use your back to kind of pull your chest up. Yeah, good.
So, is that okay looking?
So you want to think about hips back and straighter spine. Just keep your spine a little bit straighter. Yeah, good. And then think about pushing the hips back. Think about your RDL. That's better. Glute squeeze, and then yes, good. Okay, so I'm gonna do a Smith machine hip thrust. I really like these. I'm gonna actually use a heel wedge for these. I do use the heel wedge for both the barbell and the Smith machine. It just puts your hips in a slightly better position to get your glutes short. And I just feel like I can get a much better connection with these, with the wedge. I've always found that with a lot of these bigger movements, because remember that even with a barbell hip thrust, even though we do it primarily for glutes, you can't totally isolate the glutes. You're still going to get a little bit of quad. So I try and make sure that I'm keeping the connection on my glutes as solid as possible by taking time going through my reps, making sure that my tempo is spot on, making sure that I keep that connection, and I'm not just trying to lift the loads with whatever means I can, meaning that a lot more quad comes into it. So yeah, like I really like the wedge. I definitely would advise using it or trying it if you haven't already. Something that I really think about with the lying hamstring curl, actually any hamstring curl, is having a very slight soft push of my toes coming in, because typically when I see people do them, their toes are like way pointed out, and that actually is going to restrict the sort of knee flexion you can get. So you want to make sure that your feet are kind of more neutral. So often if you are naturally getting into the machine with the toes like out here, you want to make sure they slightly push them in so that they are in a neutral position. You'll be able to get so much more out of these then. You probably experience, if you're experiencing knee pain too, you'll probably find that your knees are a lot less sore when you do them that way as well.